Creature report. Creature report. Creature report. Does anyone know where that's from? If you have kids, you know.
From Creature Report?
Nope. Creature report. Creature. I was just playing with my kid right now. Kids TV show.
Monster High?
Nope, you're a fool. You're expelled.
I don't have kids.
It's from Octonauts.
No clue.
Wait, is that Mike? Oh, what's up, Mike?
Yeah, man.
All right, Q&A. Let's do this. If you got questions, I might got
I got a
answers.
question,
Oh, snaps. What is it?
Having a hard time rendering like magical particle stuff.
Easy. Gradient maps.
Is that it?
Next.
That's some color dodge. I was looking like a shite.
No, what you do is you make a new layer, fill it with black, turn that black layer to screen, and then you make a gradient map layer, not a gradient layer. Yeah, and then you alt click to that, and then in between you make an empty layer. So you have an empty layer in between the gradient map layer and the black screen layer. And then you go to the properties of the gradient map layer, and you can make your own color. You can go here and just say, I'm going to put black here for now, but like a red. Oops. Gotta click on this again. Go like with a red, and then click on here. Maybe go with like a darker orange, just because I like to play like that.
That's cool, man. You do you.
And then you make another layer that you make like maybe yellow or green, but a brighter value. So you have like a gradient map. And then basically whatever is associated to those values, we'll see that color. So for instance, painting a lighter tone, we'll make it like that. And if you push a little bit or go even lighter, you get more close to that yellow.
Max.
Yeah.
And I'll steer like a sucker.
And then you can just make new layers that like glow. And then you can go back to this layer and kind of erase. Yeah.
What?
Creature report. Creature report. Creature report. Yeah. Oh, and the benefit of this too is that you can save it. Right. Whoops. You can hit new, I mean, and then bam, there it is. But then you can see I have different ones, which then change the color for every occasion.
Cool.
It is cool.
And I guess for my homework, just finish more characters.
Yeah, pretty much to anyone who's still curious to what they need to do, you got to paint the crap out of everything. Make it so darn good. All right, let's do some photo bashing. It's been a while. It's been a while since I last. It's been a while. What is that from?
Is that from Creature Report?
Nope. Mike, do you have any guesses?
Nickelback.
Yeah, I think so.
It was just as bad. Oh.
You know, you're the music guy, so let me think of another song that you. In West Philadelphia, born and raised.
That's too easy.
Who is it? What, Martin?
Oh, come on. I was just kidding.
I was like, is it too easy or you're a damn fool?
Martin.
No, what was Martin? Martin was just Martin. It was just his name. And just said under like some sort of ambient music. You know what's funny though is like the Full House and Family Matters. They had like an interchangeable song. Whatever happened to the enemy? Hitman the Paperboy. It had me. Days go by. It's the better love of the family. So you didn't notice I switched the song
No, I
halfway
didn't.
through. It started off with Full House, and then it ended up with Family Matters. Because
I don't think I
Full
ever
House
watched
starts
Family
off with
Matters.
Full House starts with like that starts off. See, now I'm like thinking of the Family Matters one.
That's all, like everywhere you look, everywhere you go.
Oh, yeah.
Everywhere you look, everywhere the time, the day, and it is nobody. Because the Family Matters
I
one
want to
is
watch it.
the Family Matters one. How does the Family Matters one start?
I've never seen that show. Is that the one with Steve Urkel?
Yeah,
Okay.
that show gets like real bizarre real quick. Because it starts off like just like a regular like just black family
That was before my time.
in the suburbs to like this nerd that can just, whoa, babies. This nerd that can make a
Sorry,
clone of himself. It's like freaking what? Anyway, enough music trivia. Any other questions, homies? How does the Family Matters one go? I forget.
Have you updated your 3D code yet? Like, what version are you on right now?
I haven't updated it for a while, so no.
I just checked, and they're on one. I think it's 4.7.18.
Okay.
I got in there, and I was like poking around. I noticed that they added more shaders in the
Sick.
box room, and so I started testing them, and they have some like pretty cool fabric ones and some metal ones and stuff like that. But there's a warning when you click on one of those shaders, and they say that these shaders are meant for concepting, and if you try to bake them, you might not get the same result. So I tested it, and I think the only one that retained pretty good detail was they have like a wood one, and then what's the other one? It's like canvas. But the other ones, yeah, like they had like a leather one that looks so cool in the room, in the sculpture room, but when you take it and try to bake it, it looks like trash. You're like, oh shit.
Yeah, that's how a lot of them are actually.
Yeah.
But or previously, they like they didn't warn you those for concept art versus But I noticed that before, and it's a lot of it has to do with the cavity.
Right. Yeah, I remember in the tutorial we talked about that.
Yee. Yee.
Yeah, I think they're trying to improve it, so we'll see.
Duh. Every update is super huge improvements. Like it's a guy who just does everything and just all right. Guess I'll add this now. It's what the people want.
Yeah, I remember sending him an email, like trying to get a feature request, and like I never got a reply back. I think I should just hit him up again. But I think they should make it so that when you use the Vox hide tool, you have an option to make it so that it ghosts the mesh. That way you can still kind of see the mesh, but it's hidden with lasso selections. That would be so tight.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Hey, AJ, I have a question.
Nope.
I'm sorry.
Days go by. It's the beer love of the family. Oh yeah, go ahead. Question.
Oh.
Did I just derail your question?
No. I guess the question, I don't have a proper wording, but basically, when people are photo bashing and they use that for their portfolio, let's say like they have a character's face and they just use some random person they found who had a face that fit that pose and just put it on.
Mm-hmm.
Would it be bad to put that kind of stuff in your portfolio if you didn't change the face at all, for example, or something that noticeable?
I usually warn people the less that's or the more or actually here let me rephrase this. The less the image has been altered, the more you should be careful.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's like very very minorly altered, then you might want to be cautious.
Sure.
So
Okay.
so hopefully that answers your question. So like in some cases, yeah, it's pretty much someone's face, but yeah, and it all depends too because for instance, I worked on the X-Men movie, and I just pretty much used the actor's face, but that makes sense because it's the actor who's going to be wearing the
And
costume.
that's production work too, so it's
Yeah.
not like it's portfolio. That's why I was wondering. It's like when you're in house, I don't know. I hear that you can just do that because it's just going to be for somebody else to work from.
Sure. Yeah,
versus portfolio.
there's some fairness to that. Yeah, I generally don't show that kind of stuff that I do because for that reason, because I really don't feel like when it's made and it's in production, it's like no one will ever know, right?
Yeah,
But like for portfolio, it's like yeah, absolutely. Like I kind of just avoid it because again, it's just like I don't want to get hired for this stuff anyway. It's not creatively enlightening.
yeah.
You
Okay,
know?
no, that helps.
Okay, cool. Plus, you want to have something in your portfolio that actually challenges any other person that might use photos. Days go by. It's the bigger love of the family. Oh yeah, it's like it goes. It's it to the beta. It a dead to die. It's a day and then the fine. And now it is in it to do. It's Irish road.
Are you
And it's
speaking
in
English?
die. It did. You know, on an
Please isolate your voice.
everywhere you look,
Sorry.
everywhere you go, that die. I didn't know her name. Yeah, I'm so good at singing. I was playing Overwatch today and I was singing like Christmas songs, but I have like dysfunctional ones I sing, and there's one that I love to sing. It's always funny to sing. It's one where it goes, "The weather outside is frightening, but the fire is so delightening." And nobody catches on until I say the lightning part. And I was doing that. Some guy was like, "Hey, isn't it frightful?" And I was like, is it? It is. We're the joke.
Yeah, you got me.
Yeah, we were winning. We didn't win the match, but we had more fun than the other team. That's what we decided. It was a draw, but we were like, oh, we won though because we had way more fun.
We won with the spirit
What could you hear then?
in our hearts. Little do you know, they're like literally having more fun than you.
We were talking about it. Like, just people are just so mad. Like, even before the game starts, like you pick like a Honda, like, all right, like I'm already gonna be so mad at you right now.
You're throwing.
Let's begin the derailing of our team by me saying how bad you are. I'm like, whoa, bro, take it easy. And we didn't have that mentality. We were all laughing, having a good time. It was a blast. John was there.
Was it randos?
Oh yeah, it was me. It was me, John, and Randos. Yeah,
I don't gotcha.
yeah. I can't play it by myself anymore. Like it's one thing to like play with you guys and deal with a few toxic players. It's another thing like the whole team is just toxic. Like I mean, I have very little time to play, and when I play, I don't want to be surrounded by
You want
just
to
a bunch
enjoy
of
it.
yeah. I don't want the people to just be so freaking upset with their life.
Yeah. Can you just like not very long, 'cause let's keep it art wise, but do you mind talking a little bit about the game that you're working on? Aside
Yeah,
from John. I've seen you playing it with John. Like, what are your thoughts? Besides
yeah,
like
Yeah,
just
I
being
saw,
art director.
saw it on Steam also on sale.
yeah. It's a lot of fun actually. It's a survival game,
Oh,
and it's in space. It's kind of like a Matt Damon simulator, but with like real aliens and some real trouble, and play other players that are clearly
Are you,
a-holes.
you're making a
have you like ran into other
outdoor
players?
garden?
Wait, what?
Go ahead. We don't have to talk at the same time. What was your question?
Oh, he just passed away. Um, I'm not sure what you were saying though. What were you saying, Mike?
I had asked if you've run into other players
Oh yeah,
while
I
playing.
killed them. Because when I said there was ruthless players,
You
I am one of those ruthless players.
you're the bad guy.
Yeah, I am the bad guy. Anyway, yeah, it's good. It's cool. You know, um, I'm actually trying to play a bunch of other games that are similar. I got Division, like other like games that look like they have good survival design, so I can bring it to the table. But it's yeah, it's good, man. It's early access, meaning that it's still a lot of it's still in development. which I think I prefer because what it does is allows the developer to talk with the audience, but at the same time, the scrutiny of the audience is like so intense. Like they're constantly just like talking shit.
They look at it like it's done.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not wrong. Yeah.
And so like, we have to constantly remind ourselves that that's fine. The early adopters are going to be pretty critical, but at the same time, it's like, like it's like me and my fans. Like, if I make a misstep, it's okay because I have a lot of people that have followed me for so many years now that like they allow that. You know what I mean? And so it's kind of like we had the same thing happening. We have like a lot of people who um, talk crap, but there's also equal amount of people, if not more, that are just like, give it time, bro. It's like it's early access. It's gonna be great, and every patch is getting better. Like because they are updating every patch, and it is getting better every time.
Noise.
Noise.
Sorry if you don't mind me asking, are they planning to make those servers bigger?
Huh?
Are they planning to make the game servers bigger?
Oh, have you been playing it?
Yeah. Sometimes
Yeah, right
people
now,
fuck.
if people keep killing you.
Yeah.
You
I logged in. First time I logged in for 20 minutes just to try it out. I died maybe 10 times. Goddamn bastards.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
the
the
features didn't help either. They just ate me every time.
yeah.
Then
The game has no intention of getting easy either. Like
nah, easier or not, but I mean, are they planning to make them the servers like big ones, like with a
yeah,
lot of players?
we do, but right now it's like one thing at a time. I think like right now we've added a lot of features, and we decided that we need to like polish it because a lot of the features are kind of janky, and so now we're like, okay, we just need to let's hit pause for a second, and then just make a lot of adjustments. I think what really needs to happen is my boss needs to hire another programmer because it's just him and some other guy. And I'm like, you definitely need more help, so that way you guys aren't the only ones like constantly fixing and patching everything. And it will allow them to create, like stuff like you're saying, like focus on bigger stuff, like adding more players. But there's some things that players really demand right now, like they want. And we're focused on that right now, which is they really want to have classes. Like they want to have an ability of like I'm an actual scientist, I'm an actual marine, I'm an actual engineer, and have some meaning to that. There's a pretty big vocal.
You can do that by changing their outfits.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now.
Like,
Side,
kind of make it
side,
like
Wait, hold on. Go ahead and finish your thing. There's a delay, so I keep interrupting you on accident. I'll let you finish.
oh sorry, I mean like suits for soldiers and suits for fucking scientists with extra drones and shit. But anyway, these games usually they need a good
a
shooter.
trick I usually do is just basically here.
Wait, what was the last part? Josh, I accidentally interrupted.
Oh wait, what?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Wait. Oh, sorry.
No, that's a big deal. Hold on, like,
No, it's about, wait, how
on.
do I get? Wait, how did that happen? Like, okay. I'm talking about the whole programming stuff. Is that actually hard? To actually program a game?
Yeah, everything's hard, man. If it was
Everything's
easy,
hard.
yeah, if anything was easy, then everybody doing whatever the hell they want.
Imagine building a world with numbers.
Yeah,
Oh.
It's not actually like that. I'm just no.
it is. It's pretty
I should
much.
probably draw something while I'm doing this too, but no, I'm just wondering about that because even though I touch more of the creative side, I guess I never know about the technical side of when you actually build a game. I mean, I should have done that when I was younger. Actually, look into that.
Game jams.
Yeah, I think programming is getting easier because the tools are easier to work with.
You have blueprints and all that.
Yeah, I use
Yeah,
blueprints
yeah.
for Unreal. It's like super easy. Yeah, but they're using Unity and they're doing hardcore C++ or C
Oh, so
sharp.
you're actually using software to actually.
Yeah, so
In Unity, they have a blueprint editor. It's called Playmaker.
do they?
Same thing.
Oh,
Yeah. It's an
ooh,
add-on. You
that's
have to pay like
fun.
$50.
That's worth it,
What's it
man.
called?
Blueprints is
It is.
freaking easy.
Yeah, because like I remember when what's his name? Alex Perkson did Hyperlight Drifter. I don't know if you guys heard that game.
It's so sad.
What do you mean it's sad?
His story,
Oh,
pretty
are you talking
sad.
about are you talking about the game or him?
Him.
I'm not following him as in the creator.
Yeah. I think if I know
Oh
what you're
yeah,
talking
that's
about,
sad.
it's about his real
The
experience,
real
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, if I remember correctly.
He'd be dying.
Yeah,
Anywho,
sorry. Coverage?
anywho, anywho, yeah. Any other questions that are related, friends?
One.
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah. How is your, you talked about your experience from being, you've always worked either like freelance or in-house, but you've never worked full-time, I don't think, until now, remote, right?
Yeah, I'm like part-time,
Okay.
and it's similar to freelance, except it's just like I just manage my own time, but it's I get paid like a weekly rate, and I just work every day, all day, but it's like not every single second, which means that like I'll just get up and do whatever I want, and then I sit down and then get to work, and then I'll get up and do whatever I want. Like I just check in every few hours, see what's going on.
So you guys don't have any like stand-ups or anything?
Wait, what? What do you mean by that?
Like you guys don't have like a meeting where you guys all go over that kind of stuff for the
Oh
day?
no, no.
No, it's nothing.
We
Okay.
just go to each individual who's accountable for certain things and just ask if
Mm,
they did the thing, and then if they did, then they're like, great.
sure.
If they didn't, then we're like, why not? You know, it's just like just constant, just checking in with people. Like I like act as like a producer as well as art director. I constantly check in, see what everyone's doing, and I'm like, okay, you're working on that, great. You know, get it done by this time, and when you're done, post it here, right? That's pretty much it. And then they just say, okay, when it's done, then all right, give it to this person so they can model it. Okay, but when they're done modeling, okay, give it to this person so they can start implementing it into the game. Okay, when that person's done, then let's play it. You know, it's like that, and that's how it should be. Really, it should be really this kind of functional kind of workflow. There's a studio that does this, and they're really, really good at it, which is Naughty Dog. They don't have any producers. Just people just walk into each other's desks and just say, "Do you have the thing that I need?" Like, no. All right, when are you going to have it? Probably by this time. Okay, cool. See it then. That's it. Instead of having a meeting about, you know, what needs to be done, like everyone has their responsibilities. I think every so often, you know, your leads or whatever will have some sort of, you know, they'll dictate a little bit of what needs to be done. But a lot of people feel like you need more management when there's more people. But then when you have a lot of management and a lot of people in between other people, then like that also becomes a real cluster. Because like everybody starts to just not know who to talk to get anything solidified. So yeah, this is pretty good actually. I like it a lot. Yeah, basically get stuff done. Exactly, Josh.
Ooh, I gotta.
Should I ask the? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead. You have the floor.
I just wanted to ask real quick if later, before you end the class, if you could talk a little bit about using texture brushes and like what you look for when you're starting a painting with a texture brush rather than like a round brush.
Texture brushes usually, um, I just pay attention to what they can do for me. So for instance, this texture brush is a texture brush that I can paint with. Like I could do a whole painting with this brush if I needed to. So it's not really like a texture brush. It's just like this kind of brush that acts like as a chalky solidifier, right? And then there's some brushes that I just use just to get texture into the painting, right? Um, like I'll just use like a brush like this and just find brushes that have some grit to it. If I feel like I need that grit. Learned that from watching Jamie Jones paint. Like he was talking about how, every brush that you use should have some sort of purpose. Like don't just grab it because it looks cool. Like think about what it does. That's why I have like the brush panel. Oops. Or the brush presets on the side. I don't know why my Photoshop is lagging a lot. Because then I could like play with it and be like, okay, that's not going to do what I'm looking for. Oh, this will do it. I just need to use a different value. You know? And then sometimes I'll just use texture brushes to even just start to blend with, but only the ones that I use often. But yeah, I mean, and if I find there's like a really powerful brush that does a lot of cool stuff, then I'll use it often. But if I don't, I'll just work with what I got. But overall, texture brushes, like I said, I do what kind of Jamie Jones does, like find the purpose of it and then use it to satisfy that purpose.
All right. Yeah, I understand what you're getting at.
Yeah, because a round
More
brush,
so just experimenting, just
yeah,
trying to find workflows. Because that's what I figured out when I was doing the earlier thumbnails is when you asked me to do studies, I was trying to figure out a workflow for getting those done in a short amount of time. And through that, I found like it's something that you've always done, but it's something I did on accident and realized that you do it, is when you're filling a shape to leave some of the canvas, and then that can like represent your highlight, and then you can paint around the highlight, and it kind of helps
yeah,
you see your form. And I was like, whoa, it looks shiny already. And I was
it
like, there's got to be
does.
more things like that. So I'm like on a mission.
It's like a painter. It's like a default painter process. Like this is not something that I invented. Painters have been doing it for eons.
Yeah, because then when I looked back, this is the last thing I was saying, then Josh had a question. I remember looking back to your Learn Square class, and when you were talking about studying, you looked at Leindecker's work, right? And he used those strokes. And so I think I saw like where the white is, where his strokes are. I was like, maybe that's what he's doing, you know? It was like, because he's using traditional paint. So
Mm-hmm.
why go in there and like paint that tiny white highlights in those spots when you can just leave it
Mm.
untouched?
You're learning, young Padawan.
All right, dude. Thank you.
You were saying, Josh, what's up? What's up, buddy?
I guess, well, I don't know, like, I don't, is this a question I want to bring up? Because I don't know if this is actually related to the whole video game or creative side of things. Is like, I don't know, do you actually think that you have to be very good at some point, like, for anybody else, like, to actually go into the creative process of actually making their own IP or something, or get into that, just, you know, just put yourself out there, just, make new worlds over there? Has that always been a possibility?
Everything's a possibility, my friend. You know, um, anything within reason, man. Like that is totally reasonable to make your own idea and make it come to life and have
I
people enjoy it.
I don't know, because like I guess it's this weird feeling that like is it more about just making an accessible IP or the longevity of that shelf life or something, or just making it just enough to where you feel satisfied with it? Because I've been looking into like a lot of that stuff. Even like when I first before I met you guys, is like I always wonder about that. Like, do I really care about longevity? Do I care about do I care about just making the product in general? Stuff like that. I don't know if that's really a question. Because I don't know if anybody brought that up before with you. I think I did it like a few years back, right?
Yeah, maybe. Okay, so the way
I
that
don't
I
know.
see
I'm
the way
sorry.
that I
Go
see
ahead.
this question is, you're asking a lot about like what or what nots. And I
Yeah.
always get really concerned with that kind of thinking because what if you have the answer? What if you heard the wrong answer? So what does that mean now for you? What a wrong answer would be? What if I said to you, "Oh yeah, it's so difficult. Like, why even try? Don't even do it." Right?
Yeah.
And so now, are you motivated not to do it after hearing something like that? Question I
Hmm.
have, right? For you is now, if you hear someone tell you just don't do it, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
Would you then not do it?
Hmm.
Right?
Don't know. Don't know. Haven't tried yet.
Okay, and so then the next thing, the next point about the problem I have with that is like, what if they gave you the right answer? Right? It's like you can absolutely do it. Like it's totally easy. You know, like and what I mean like the right answer is the right answer, the answer you potentially were hoping to hear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so the reality is that when you get started either way, either direction, you might be misguided because those are the wrong questions to be asking.
Hmm.
It's not a matter of whether it's possible or whether it's something that you want to do for longevity. Like it's just a matter. It's a very simple question you should ask yourself whenever doing anything that you want to do. Is
Yeah.
is this something that you'd be okay? Like if you were to die tomorrow, would you be happy with where you're at right now with it? Or if you were to die
Actually,
right now? And if the answer is no, then that means you haven't started. You haven't even tried doing the things that potentially you love, right? Like, are you doing today the thing that you feel you love? And if the answer is no, then you need to start working towards that. And you need to every day be asking this question. Am I happy today? Like, am I doing what I think truly is going to bring me that satisfaction?
if you actually saw my face right now, my eyes would probably be big open after hearing that.
Yeah, because do you think that Stan Lee knew that Marvel was going to be as big as it is today? Do you think that George Lucas knew that Star Wars was going to be the phenomenon that it is today? Do you think Spielberg knew he was going to be a legendary director, or any of these people that are great and doing great things? Do you believe that
Absolutely.
when Bill Gates was developing Windows, he would also be on the front tier of helping many people around this world with his different associations, where he brings other billionaires together to drop a quarter on these huge projects and no one else can do or will do because of political or social reasons. So they're independent of
Yeah.
that, right? Like people like trying to stop climate change and better education, um, so forth and so on, and like healthcare. Like this is the kinds of things these people are trying to do. Do you think Bill Gates thought he was going to do that? Like, oh yeah, when I'm in my prime of launching my software company, I'm going to be a philanthropist. No, he just
Mhm.
decided that being a billionaire mogul was not enough. And in a lot of cases, it just isn't. Having a lot of money doesn't necessarily bring a lot of satisfaction to anybody, really.
Yeah.
Um, and Bill Gates and a lot of millionaires and billionaires feel this way. Not all, but most. And if they don't admit it to themselves, it's clear by how many things they buy and how much they want to show you how cool they are, looking for a constant reassurance,
Hmm. Yeah.
right?
And that, yeah.
And so, like, that's kind of like, again, the root of your question is on this kind of, you want to constantly be reassured that you're making a good choice in your life, or maybe there's a potential path worth pursuing. And I just say, I've always made it very simple. It's like, well, do you want to make an IP? Then make one.
Hmm.
And then ask yourself, is this something that you actually want to do? It became very clear to me I could care less about owning my own property. In fact, I started Learn Squared and then I left Learn Squared and I was upset about leaving, but I was kind of like fine with it. I actually prefer being an employee than a boss. And if I am going to have any ownership, then I'm going to be something that no one else is attached to other than just me and myself and I. Because
Yeah.
I'm just then only doing it for myself. And with that being said, I'm always doing research and I'm always paying attention to things that really interest me. I like to tell stories, so I think I'm a good storyteller. And today I was watching right before class, I was watching the Tracer cinematic or the Tracer comic book. It was so well done. And I was just like, man, this is so cool, such an interactive thing. And the first thing that popped in my mind was, man, I was like, I would love to do something like this for my kids, right? And
Yeah.
as I was reading it, I was looking into thinking about this, and at the end it said made with made fire, or what is it? Not made fire, but
Ooh, that looks cool.
move book, I think it is. Look at that. And then you basically can make a motion comic using their tools. And there's tutorials on how to do it using their tools.
Nah.
I need to pay this. Hey,
That's cool.
It is
I'll
cool.
look into that.
Is it
I
free?
probably should.
Well, that's my question. Are you going to look into it? Or are you just going to keep talking about looking into it? There's
I'm
a
going to
difference.
look into it. Yeah.
Because I literally made an account, and I've already watched 2 tutorials. See, there's something that my wife taught me a long time ago when we first meet. She said, she told me that I talk a lot. She said, you have all this stuff that you want to do, but I don't see you doing it. And I was like, oh, snaps. I just got owned. Right? You know, it's,
Um,
and here, that's the point I'm trying to make is like, you know, it's easy to say you're going to do something. It's a different story. And that really is truly the difference between those who make those projects happen versus those who do not. Deadmau5 said it something on one of his, like I was watching the master class with Deadmau5, and there's something that he says at the end of it that I really loved. Or he was just like, he's like, you can put all this time and effort and really fail and, have a hard time or whatever. I'm paraphrasing, by the way. It's not exactly what he said.
yeah, of course.
But then he's like, but, if you don't try, then you absolutely will fail. Like you 100% will not succeed if you don't even try, right?
That's true.
Like there's 100% lose rate if you don't even try. And I've always mentioned that, right? Like doing nothing is literally ultimately the worst thing you can potentially do. Um,
Hmm.
and I don't mean that
That is true.
figuratively. I mean that literally,
Yeah.
like doing
Right.
absolutely no effort. Look into it. But then also, if you're really interested in making comics, then try to make one. You know, and and if it's bad, it's bad. It's gonna happen.
That is true. Yeah. Yeah. You really take a hit.
Post
if you
that
want.
link.
Huh?
I tried to. Oh, the link for the
You know
comic,
what?
Midfire.
No, you look for it yourself.
Oh, I already did mine already, so I'm close
Oh,
enough.
no.
Everybody else.
I
I mean,
guess like
how like normally I would just give you that stuff, but to teach the bigger lesson, how do you think I found it? It's not like someone gave it to me, you know?
silver
And
plate.
yeah, and that's very common to how I progress. Like most things are just not handed to me. And a lot of this needs to be understood. Like it is great to have stuff handed to you and really give like having a friend say, hey, yeah, this is a link to this thing, you know? I'm not saying that you should never share stuff to to do that. Like is kind of backwards to what I really believe in, which is community. But to push the bigger agenda, the bigger lesson here, it's like, well, who was my Anthony Jones, right?
Right. Hmm.
Who's my mentor that gives me all this stuff? And to be honest, I don't have one. The only people that I consider my mentors truly are just people that I keep myself connected with, all my friends. All the people, my students, my friends collectively make up the people that help me get these types of things. There's never one single solution. One day maybe Mike might have a solution to a certain thing. Hey, your son's into like audio stuff. I got you a bunch of audio stuff. You know, Send that to me to the kindness of his heart. I wasn't asking for it. I wasn't like, oh man, because I already did some groundwork on my own end. But Mike just happened to stumble upon it or thought about it, pass it along to me. Right?
Right. Right.
It's just like, if you put out there that you are interested in things and you also like actively look into it yourself, you're collectively creating a library, an opportunity of libraries to be opened and researched, right? Like the more you keep opening different links, the better. How did I know to use GoToMeetings instead of Join Me or Google Hangouts? Research, right? I was looking for a here. Watch. You guys want to have some fun for a little bit before we go? I was looking for a way to do like a whiteboard type drawing and not using real-time boards. And if you don't know what real-time boards is, don't worry about it. You know, my point exactly. I'm going to send you guys a link in the GoToMeeting. Click on that link, sign up using your Facebook, and then begin to draw with me, friends. Begin to draw. And I was thinking about, oh, this is so fun and creative. This will be a good way to kind of get people to join in. And yeah, see, there's Iron Cutter. See it? Yeah. Someone draw the body. I'll draw the head. Someone draw the body of the character.
What did I just drew?
I don't know. Like, how cool is this?
Oh God, my ears.
Someone to draw the body. I'll draw the arms. I'll draw the other arm.
Okay. I'm drawing a tail, I guess.
But did you guys know about this?
No. Yeah.
Yeah, someone's drawing. What is this person holding?
Let's see.
Oh, money?
Duh, dude.
See? Look how fun this is.
I don't know what.
All right, I'll draw the pants. Someone draw the feet. Yeah, I'll draw the cut lines for the feet. I'll continue to draw these pants.
This is pretty accurate. Wow.
Right? Did you know about this? Anybody?
Oh, I was making my quadruped.
Mine's because John showed me when I was in college.
Oh, you can undo!
No. And
oh, shit!
Yeah.
Wait, how do you undo?
Control Z.
Control Z.
Oh God. Yeah. I don't like it has a universal thing for visual.
So,
right now.
so my point is that, like, how
Hell yeah.
how did I know about this? How did I discover this? And I've said this many times, like countless amounts of times. Google. Just Google it. If anything, if I have to contribute like a true mentor, like my greatest mentor, it would probably be Google, the Google search engine. You know?
What are we drawing?
Yeah, I actually wanted to do a stream. I wanted to do a stream where I
Have a bunch of people draw.
get a bunch of people draw, yeah. Like, and people in the stream can join in and we can all hang out.
That's a great idea.
Of course it's a great idea.
What?
Because that's how it works, man. That's how ideas are formed. Is you
Wait, can I excise the? Oh, I can't.
Yeah, you can. If you use the middle mouse button, you have to like pull off from your tablet.
Oh.
I think there's like an actual hotkey too, but the middle mouse button's the.
It doesn't like me. It doesn't like me.
Oh, you have to scroll. Middle mouse scroll. I mean, not middle mouse button.
Oh, no. Wait, maybe if I can I do the thing? No.
Oh, they're pro features. Oh shit.
But this is free.
Yay! I made dots. Yay.
And then you can have somebody start to.
I would ask that question regarding Ashtorp and Andy, because I always want to know like how do you guys thought process when you actually learn stuff. That was kind of weird because I always know that Ash always likes to like, he usually dives in a lot of books. I really noticed that when I ever listen to this podcast.
Anyway.
Yeah, but anyway.
Yeah, everyone thinks differently, right? And so you got to rely. I'm gonna stop drawing on here. You guys can do whatever you want. It's free reign. Free reign on there. Feel free to keep digging around in there.
Let the penises release.
Oh yeah.
Welcome, dude.
It shall not pass.
But it was mostly just to find like a brainstorming type of tool, and I was just like, yeah, this is even cooler for like maybe drawing. And how did I associate those two ideas together? Well, I'm a painter and I draw and I stream and I believe in community. All that stuff adds together to potentially come up with this idea of drawing with the community, right? And streaming it and just having a blast and just all talk about it and laugh, and maybe like just, all right, everybody try to draw this thingy,
Oh, Jesus. This is nice.
Anyway, I'm done with this.
Yeah, I'm gonna mute myself on that.
Yeah, you can keep drawing if you want. Just stop interrupting, I guess.
Dude, this guy is so kawaii.
Yeah. And so do you guys get what I'm trying to get at? Like I encourage you guys to do your own research a lot, right? I keep preaching it and and giving you guys as much insight as possible to really convince you that that truly is the answer to all the answers. you know, it's the whole teaching you how to fish part, right? And of course, I have great answers or useful answers for even just for more minor issues that you might run into, right? Or questions that you may want to ask. Like, of course, I can be more direct with my answers. But when it comes to stuff like how do you get started, AJ? How do you do this thing? I usually am just like I'm usually pretty much like the way that I feel about it is a little confused to why you're so confused. And this uses the general you. It's not directly to anyone specifically, right? It's like, well, I I think everyone knows the answer to this. They just don't want to admit that it's that simple. And so so asking questions about like the kind of questions you were asking earlier, Josh, I think are just a distraction type of question, a series of questions. I think the best question you should be asking yourself is whether you want to do it or not. Because everything else is kind of irrelevant. Because whether you make money or stuff, I can guarantee you can make money doing mostly anything. You might not be a millionaire or billionaire, but really, there's been plenty of examples and cases that prove that being a millionaire doesn't necessarily bring happiness. So you just got to ask yourself, what makes you happy?
That is true, yeah.
I literally have millionaire friends, people that are millionaires. Like I know these people. I live in Irvine, which is tons of rich people live here. And some of our friends, through our kids, we meet them through our kids. Because I don't just go hang out with millionaires just like out of nowhere. It's because like the programs that our kids are all going to, these people are millionaires. They're living in $1 million houses. They're amazing in mansions, right, with saunas inside. It's like a freaking epic, like grand pianos in their second living room out of the three that they have. And it's just like we live in this really small apartment, barely affording it, but we get to hang out with millionaires. And I mean, we hear the inner workings of our millionaire friends, and most of them just aren't happy. They're just not happy people. Their kids love hanging out with me because I love hanging out with kids. And you can tell like a lot of these kids are neglected by their parents because their parents are millionaire parents and they just work all the time, right?
Guys, I'm calling it now. Adrian will make the best kindergarten teacher ever. I'm
I
just calling it right now.
I decided to start teaching younger kids how to draw. I've like my friends reached out to me, like some of our close friends are like, dude, you should teach my kids. Like I'll pay for that. I'm like, all right. And I'm doing it not necessarily to make a dollar, to do it because I love kids, I love art, I love teaching. And more importantly, it'll put me, like my kids will be there and I'll be teaching them with other kids. Nothing makes me more excited
Yeah.
about being with my children. I really love being with them, especially now that I'm more healthy. It's just so much fun. And and that's what makes me happy is just to be a great teacher, uh, a great artist, but more importantly, out of all those things, I really love just being a great father and husband, you know, and I really, really love the things that I do. And I'm very happy now. And I usually try to encourage people to try to find that too. And it might not be being a concept artist. Sometimes that's the start, and it may lead to you making your own comic book. Then comic book, becomes very popular, and you make enough money to survive off of it and keep making it. That's great. Mike Mignola is a great example of kind of like the person that I would like to try to live towards.
Wait, Mike Manola? Oh my god, I had the same birthday as that guy.
Yeah, but he's like popular enough that like people like you and I would know who he is, but not so popular that he would get bothered in the streets every 5 seconds. Like I like that kind of fame. That's the kind of fame that I kind of have whenever I go to art shows or whatever, or art mixers or events that I host. There's a little bit of a fame there, but it only lasts only in those certain closed settings. I can go to a supermarket and never worry about people bothering me or getting clustered, like about talking with me or talking to me. So that allows me that when it does happen, I'm very humbled by it and very excited by it. Unlike most celebrities, which I understand because they get it every 5 seconds, so they're like completely jaded, right? But like even like in Overwatch, when people do that, I'm just kind of like, oh, dope, right? Because it's so rare. It's like every other month maybe, or every other like once or twice a month, I'll get like somebody, just one random person, which is cool. Mike was there for a few of them.
Yeah, dude.
And I was just like,
We added one dude. And
yeah,
then he played with us.
yeah, he was like a art center student. That's right.
Yeah, it's cool.
What was he doing on Overwatch?
Yeah, that's probably why we don't play with him ever again, because he's back to work. He was really bad, which
I
says,
really want to just
which
that
says a
one guy.
lot about it. Like his art skill. Like the worse you are at that game, the better you probably are at everything else in life.
Damn, is Rick a badass then?
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, still I'm trying to put my finger down on that. I feel bad because every time we hang out with him, I was like, we can't do competitive, and he's just like, I know. And I'm like, why? Why did?
That person that shall not be named.
Oh, we
They
named
just
it.
said Rick.
It's like the first thing we did.
Rick.
Anyway,
Yeah.
any last questions? I'm gonna head in this stream so I can go.
Nah, I'm good. I'm good.
Our next
You know?
class is the Monday after New Year's, so the second.
Not the Monday.
No.
That's the
The
week.
whatever day it is.
Wednesday.
So the Wednesday of the second, yes. So that would be a 4th to be exact. Just so there's no confusion.
Never said we got the more 4 feet with you, but nope.
The 4th of
Okay.
January.
I'm gonna hit you up about homework later on Facebook, right? Because
No.
as you know, I don't know if you noticed, I didn't submit today.
No, I noticed.
Yeah, I'm sure you noticed.
And I didn't care.
I didn't think you would.
Feelings. Your feelings, I can feel them. The force is strong with you.
Oh no. Oh no.
Did you guys all see Rogue One?
Nope, still haven't seen it.
Still never seen Star Wars.
I seen it recently.
I haven't
I actually
seen
enjoyed it.
Alright, never mind then. Bunch of jokers. Alright. I'm going to stop now. Appreciate y'all. Thanks for a great class. Thanks for great questions. I'll talk to you guys after the break. You guys enjoy the break. Have a good and hearty one. I might stream throughout the week. Please feel free to join in, hang out. You'd be using the Discord more and more often. I'm really excited for the the hangouts. Yeah, those look great. But yeah, the Zeitboard. Oh yeah, let me check out what you guys did. You guys do. What have you done? What have you done?
Oh, you can zoom?
Yeah, using the mouse wheel. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna delete all
we'll have
this.
to stream that. That's
No! Leave my guy alone. He's trying to pick up the barf.
Here, I can save it. I can save. You can export this whole thing as a SVG file. All right. Well, there you go. All right, guys. I wonder how to stop you guys from staying in here. I guess I could just delete the board. Close.
Until next time.
There it is.
No, it's still in here.
Peace out.
Hold on. How do I? There you go. Clear all. Get rid of all junk. Jerks.
I still see it.
Well, yeah. It's,
I don't know.
as soon as you try to go back, it'll be gone.
Oh, evil. My
You
life. My
can
legacy.
you can print screen. But anyway, later, y'all.
That's it. Yeah.
Thank you for watching this video. I appreciate it. Please subscribe to watch more in the future. If you like the video, I would appreciate a thumbs up. If you like this content, you can go to my website, robotpencil.net, where you can find mentorships, tutorials, and a Patreon to get more exclusive content. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys in my next videos.